Hello there. Extreme heat and thundery downpours have been a feature across Europe in recent days, but things are set to change with the arrival of this area of low pressure, bringing noticeably cooler air. And that will probably come as welcome news for many. The heat has subsided, dry, settled and sunny. As we move into Saturday, there'll be some sharper showers and stronger winds across the UK, across the Low Countries and into northern Europe. As for the Mediterranean, it's largely fine and quiet. The recent intense thundery downpours across parts of Turkey and the Ukraine easing somewhat. You can see some sharper showers through Poland, stretching up into Germany, the Low Countries. That's also going to nudge towards Scandinavia, and we've seen some very intense heat, way above the average for the time of year. That will help to ease this. So that's the story over the next few days. As we move into Sunday, you can see that wetter weather pushing into Scandinavia, stretching down through Germany across to the Alps. The Mediterranean stays fine, settled and sunny. And so that means a change to our city forecast as well to come over the next few days. It means that temperatures for London and Paris next week are a good 10 degrees down on where they've been this week. Madrid and Rome stay dry, settled and sunny still. We do see some showers across parts of Germany and Moscow, but not as intense as they have been. Better the sunshine into Athens. Hello there. A forecast for Australia and New Zealand coming up shortly. But first of all, let's start off with a satellite picture, shall we, across Asia. And you can see quite clearly the localised front at this time of year, the Mayu front slicing through central China. It's also producing some heavy rain over the next few days across parts of southern Japan in particular. So those vibrant yellows and greens denoting that heavy rainfall as it drifts steadily eastwards. Still some heavy rain is expected through Shanghai and into central China. To the north of that, it's fine and sunny. To the south of that, a few scattered showers. Not looking too bad across Vietnam at the moment. Plenty of sharp showers through Malaysia and Indonesia. This is the city forecast. You can see to the north of that front in China, we keep that sunshine and that warmth across Beijing. Now let's move to Australia, where high pressure has been the dominant story. Rather windy conditions just recently, but lighter winds expected through the start of the weekend. A weather front starting to approach the west of Australia, and that'll bring some outbreaks of rain. It's been cool by night and by day, as you can see quite clearly, but temperatures are set to climb over the next few days. Now, for New Zealand, we've seen some windy weather with gale force gusts of winds across the North Island. We'll see more rain coming into the South Island as well. So the story for the next few days, the heat returns into Sydney. By next week, we will continue to see some rain for Wellington. Hello there. Monsoon rains are slightly ahead of schedule at the moment. That means that we're seeing some very extensive rainfall across parts of Myanmar, Bangladesh, northeastern states of India. But the rains have actually reached as far north as parts of Pakistan as well. As you can see quite clearly on our graphics, through the course of Friday into Saturday, we'll see some very wet weather across the west. Also, the heaviest of the rain looks likely across the northeast. Lightning, a major issue here, and we could see as much as 400 millimetres of rain in places, maybe more for some areas. Now, across much of Central Asia, we've got some rain pushing into Kazakhstan at the moment. Also some sharper showers, as you can see, down to Uzbekistan and as well through Afghanistan and Pakistan. Here it's dry and settled for the moment. Now, the wetter weather is really down across that Kerala coastline, the brighter greens denoting the intensity of that rain. There'll be a few showers for Sri Lanka. Not looking too bad until we get up into northeastern states and then, as I say, across India, across Bhutan, and also through Myanmar and Bangladesh, we'll see some very heavy flooding rains and severe lightning strikes. So Mumbai keeps those showers going over the next few days. So too does Dhaka. It looks as though we will continue to see some dry, settled weather for Tashkent, with temperatures returning back into the mid-30s. Take care. Hello there. There are no major stories across North America at the moment. Some subtle changes over the next couple of days. We have got some stormy activity moving its way through the northern plains, and that will gradually drift its way eastwards towards the Great Lakes. That could bring some pretty torrential thundery downpours and large hail here. We're also seeing some storms moving up through West Texas, and at the same time some of that Saharan dust cloud may well just push across the Gulf Coast, and that could turn some of the blue sky and sunshine a little murky. Now, along the west coast, we've got a weather front pushing in from the Pacific Northwest at the moment. That means it'll bring some cloud and some rain, affecting parts of Vancouver, then stretching down into Washington, across into Oregon, Northern California. It's fine and settled. Not as hot as it has been in the desert southwest. Can you believe I'm saying that? With 107 degrees down to 105. A slow easing, and the winds will ease as well. That will be great news for the wildfires they've got there. Now, across the east coast, it's a quieter story. You can see that stormy weather moving its way through the Great Lakes. A lot of good, fine weather elsewhere. As I say, there could be some fairly murky looking skies with that Saharan dust as it pushes onto the Gulf Coast. But I suspect Florida will stay dry, although, as I say, it's not going to be blue sky and sunshine here. These are the temperatures over the next few days. Hello there. Forecast for Mexico, Central America and the Caribbean all coming up shortly. But first of all, let's start off with a satellite picture in South America. And you can see quite clearly this stripe of cloud. That's the main weather story. It's a weather front that's going to bring some heavy rainfall as we go through the weekend to parts of southern Brazil. As much as a month's worth of rain is possible through the weekend, and that could bring some localised flooding. Now, to the north of that, across parts of Venezuela and Colombia, we'll see some sharp, intense downpours. A little bit drier, though, across northern Brazil. Then we'll see that heavy rain, which will gradually nudge its way up to Rio de Janeiro as the weekend progresses. That's the dividing line between much cooler air across northern Argentina and Chile, with some snow to higher ground. So the city forecasts show that clearly. There's that rain arriving in Rio on Sunday. Here's the cooler air into Buenos Aires. Temperatures really struggling here. Let's move towards the East Pacific now, where there are 3 storms here. Doesn't look as though they're going to make landfall, but they are going to bring some rough seas, some sharper showers into Mexico, slightly drier across the Yucatan Peninsula, heavier rain down across Central America. And the recent Saharan dust that we've seen over the Caribbean is starting to move towards the Gulf Coast. So it's an improving weather story in terms of visibility over the next few days. We continue to see some sharp showers, though, for Havana, Cuba. Hello there. There's a chance that the strong winds that we've seen across the Sahara will ease a little into the weekend. You can also see on the satellite picture in Africa the shower clouds developing and travelling their way from east to west as we get at this time of year. That means the heaviest of the rain through the Gulf of Guinea, as you can see, out towards West Africa. We've got some strong winds across the Sahara, slowly starting to ease on Saturday. And we've got a weather front that's pushing into South Africa at the moment. That's going to bring outbreaks of rain, and so a drop in temperature for Cape Town with 16 degrees. So that's the story primarily for the start of the weekend. It does look as though the rain will ease and we'll see some heat returning into Cape Town. Elsewhere, we keep some dry, settled weather. Now, for North Africa, we've still got that heat across Khartoum. Temperatures fairly static across Casablanca, dry, settled and sunny. Let's move to the Middle East now, where it does look as though we are going to see a good deal of dry weather. No surprise here for late June. Temperatures still likely to peak into the mid to high 40s in some places, but that's not as high as it has been. Now, there's a potential for a localised shamal, which could bring a little bit of lifted dust. Nothing particularly significant, but it is just worth pointing out. But we keep that dry, sunny theme right throughout the week, with temperatures still likely to peak into the mid to high 40s. That's it. Take care.